Hello guys and gals, how's it going? Screezilla here and I hope you're all well. Just before this video, I just want to apologise. I don't think this is my best work, but I do want to get this video out because I think it's an important one. This video is about Alexandra Samusenko, who was a soldier in the Second World War. I do apologise about my stammer and a few stoppages in this video. I'm not too well tonight, so there are a few pauses and I do have some trouble with my notes as well, so I do apologise about that, but I do hope you enjoy this video and I do hope you find it interesting. Thank you and please enjoy. Hello guys and girls, how's it going? Screezilla here and I hope you are all having a fantastic day. Today I'm going to be doing a bit of a different video. Well, not too different, but a video I've done a couple of videos like this. I'm going to be mainly talking about a single person. Well, maybe a couple of people. Being that it's International Women's Day, Women's Appreciation Day, you know, a day where we can look at women and, well, not look at women, but, you know, basically try and get things right in the world for women. You know, because there's so much inequality, but I'm not going to get into that. That's political stuff. Anyway, I wanted to talk today about female roles in the military, and specifically about one in particular, and this is the role of Alexandra Samusenko. Oh, sorry, I went a bit Spanish/Italian there, more Russian it should be, but Alexandra Samusenko was a female soldier in the Russian military. And there's not much known about her. She's not an overly famous female soldier for the Russian army. Not like Maria Oktyabrskaya. And I do apologise about my terrible pronunciation of these names. So I apologise in advance for butchering all the Russian names. So Alexandra Samusenko, she was a. There's a lot of different information about her. There is information saying that she could have been a major in the 1st Guard Tank Battalion for the Russians. Sorry, the 1st Guard Tank Army. There is also stuff saying that she was a officer. She was a communications officer. She was a tank commander. The main thing though is that she was a tank commander. Now, there's also a lot of conflicting information about when she started. It's believed that she joined the army when she was about 12. She joined the military and started out as a learning, basically, military conduct, very early age. And as I say, there's a lot of conflicting information about her and just the bits in general. And that's quite hard to come across. It's hard to find the true information for her. But what we've got, the information that is solid, is that she did command a tank. There is reports that she started her military career in Spain, in the Spanish Civil War, fighting with the Russians. But that has pretty much been debunked. However, it is believed that she started out in the Winter War fighting against the Finnish. There's a lot of extracts from books and a lot of information that's not 100% accurate, but it could possibly be true. One of the major bits for her is American paratrooper Joseph Barrell. This is published on a Russian website, and it's from Barrell's perspective and from his sort of journals and things like that. Now what he says in there is, finally, the Russians came out to him. Soviet tanks approached the shed where he was hiding from German patrols. Barrell stepped forward to meet the soldiers, raising his hands, one of which had his last pack of Lucky Strike cigarettes. Communicating with Russian prisoners in Outdervase, he learned several phrases. Going out to meet the Russians, he shouted, "I am American, friend." Barrell was lucky. The political instructor of the tank battalion understood a little bit of English. He helped him to explain with the commander, a woman in a major's epaulets, who lost her husband and her whole family in the war. Although he did not remember her name, he called her Major. In the late 80s and 90s, Joseph and his son John tried to find this battalion and its commander, but without success. After Popochev, American comrade, vodka and soldier porridge, the major said that he should be evacuated to the rear, from where Bariel and other freed Americans from German captivity were sent home to the States. After listening to the translation, Bariel put the glass on the table and said, "I am not liberated from captivity, I am a refugee from captivity. I fled to come out to you and beat the Hitlerites with you. We are allies, right? So we must fight together." In the battalion, the American tanks Shermans were received in the Lend-Lease program. After fixing the radio set on them and providing communication, Joseph finally broke the ice of distrust. When it turned out that he was an excellent demolition expert and machine gunner, he joined the battalion and fought alongside in the first Guard Tank Division, fighting alongside Alexandra Samusenko. And this is an unconfirmed report, but it is an interesting story. It is possible that he met her. Now, in other memoirs, there is a book written by Fabian Grain called Flowers on Tanks. Moscow, Soviet Russia, 1973. Fabian Grain, in the ranks of Major, served in the 1st Panzer Army. Now, this is all translated, so you have to forgive me, it's a bit wonky. And also, I don't know what's going on here with the game, but the tanks keep disappearing. It's really weird. I've had a few issues with it today, where tanks become invisible, and it's very problematic. Anyway, this is an extract from his book. Senior Lieutenant Shura Samusenko, who arrived in the brigade a month ago, was sent to Zhukov, the battalion commander. "Look closely at her," Temenk said. "If the business people and the guys do not quarrel over her, she will remain your deputy." Zhukov frowned. He did not doubt that Lydia, after learning about the change in the skirt, would be upset, which is good. She will become jealous. He did not dare to object, because Samusenko had free military orders. Now, Samusenko actually had a few different notations. She actually had... sorry, I'm just looking through my notes trying to find the bits and bobs. She had 2 orders of distinction and also the Red Army... where am I? Where's my bits? The Red Army... I've forgotten the name of the actual distinction, which is terrible. But she was awarded a lot of battle honours. The Red Star. Order of the Red Star. There we go. So she was awarded the Order of the Red Banner, Order of the Surovov Order of Bogdan Kalenemsky Brigade. She was also a communications officer, awarded 2 orders of Patriotic War First Degree and the Order of the Red Star. She was at least twice burnt in tanks and was also wounded while in service. Now, with the book Flowers on Tanks, it goes into detail about her falling in love. Now, this is one of the things that actually is possibly true. Where am I? Gotta find my notes. Got to find my correct notes now. Sorry about this. But she basically hid a lot of. She wasn't a very big. There we go. So in an episode, a certain officer fell in love with Samusenko. He asked her not to smoke and drink. Samusenko parried with, "Maybe you've fallen in love," kissed him on the head, and stopped smoking and drinking thereafter. And that was one of the big things for her. She was a heavy smoker and a heavy drinker. Now, Alexandra Samusenko, she had a very storied career. Probably the most distinct part of it was in the Battle of Kursk, where she took out 3 Tiger 1s, which in itself is a very big feat. She did an amazing job. She was commanding the tank at the time. She, as I said, she did fight in Finland as well, and that's where she started off her career. She started fighting in 1940. Sorry. The active years of service are listed as 1935 to 1945, and that's because she joined very early in her life. She was born in 1922, and it's unknown exactly where she is born, but Chiter is possibly her location of birth. But there are a lot of different, again, contrasting parts of this. From all accounts, she was an absolute lovely person, and she was a complete and utter devout soldier. She really put her all into it. She was always at the front line. She always fought hard. I will put a picture of her up as I'm doing this, and you'll see she was an absolutely beautiful young girl, and she had a fantastic smile there. You know, this young lady was fighting the oppressive fascist Germans for her country, and she was fighting with the men. She was fighting in the front as well. She wasn't just simply there for PR purposes. She was fighting. She was fighting a war, and that is just, you know, she was a soldier, and that's it. She was just another soldier. And I'm not saying that in a nasty way. I'm saying that in she was a soldier, a pure soldier. She fought as a soldier. Now, unfortunately, she did pass before the end of the war. There are many reports on how she died. The most common one, unfortunately, is it was an accident. Now, where am I? Unfortunately, she was crushed under the tracks of a tank, which did not notice her in darkness after an ambush. She was buried in Lobez, Poland, near the monument to William I. However, there are other reports on this as well. One of the other reports states that she actually died fighting, and this is the one I would like to believe, just because it seems like the kind of person she was. This is a extract from a article. Alexandra Samusenko, born in 1922, she began the war with an ordinary infantry platoon. She wrote a letter to Clanin with a request to help her when she entered the Tank Academy. She graduated successfully, a member of the Battle of Kursk and the Liv Sandomierz operation. She fought in the Guards Tank Army, Order of Chertakov, Order of Red Banner, Order of Surov, Order of Bogdan Klemensky Brigade. She was a communications officer, awarded 2 orders of the Patriotic War of First Degree and the Order of Red Star, at least twice burned in battle, was wounded and killed at the rank of captain, on the post of a liaison officer and possibly deputy battalion commander on March 3rd, 1945, in the village of Kulskabez. in the town of Lobos in Poland. Now, it's said that she died actually fighting a SS platoon. When she died, she leapt out the vehicle. She threw her orders into the truck as it was burning. She was shot down by the Germans, and this was taken from a woman's account at the time. This was taken from a Czechoslovakian lady who was said to have buried her. Her name was Angus Berman, and this was her her account. 3 days ago, an armoured car drove into the village. Who was sitting there, I do not know. The Germans have already left. For some reason, there was one tank. Maybe it was faulty, I do not even know. But only from the tank they shot. The armoured car caught fire. I saw a guy jump out, throw his bag into the fire, as she called the tablet. And this was her, the orders, the communication orders. So, important stuff that couldn't be captured by the enemy. She grabbed the person grabbed a revolver and then fell. When the tank left, I went up to the guy and found out, to my horror, that it was a girl. She was in her uniform. In the tunic, I found a photo and read on the back her surname. She dug a shallow grave. It was difficult for my children to dig the hard ground, they said, and buried her. The lieutenant that found her body was in tears. He dug up Samusenko's body and then buried her near the William I monument. Now, there is a second account from Angus Berman. More is known about her last hours of life. 2 months before the end of the war, on March 3rd, 1945, Guard Captain Samusenko, performing a combat mission as a communications officer near the Polish city of Lobos, jumped on SS men escaping from the encirclement they had taken the fight to. The driver of the armoured car, Viktor Kamensko, was immediately killed. Throwing the field bag with documents in the burning car, Alexandra continued to fight off the attacking enemies with the PPSH, and only when the caterpillar of a tank crushed her, they say it was a self-propelled gun, crushed her legs, the Germans managed to take the brave girl out. Now, it's said that Alexandra was taken prisoner and tortured, and then shot in the head. However, this has been refuted. The body of the deceased was buried in the ground by a Ukrainian woman, who was stolen by the fascists of a foreign land. Later, later she was reburied in the central square of Lobos. Now, as I say, there's a lot of conflicting reports for her, but I think the most likely of her fate is that she died fighting, and died fighting the Germans after being shot, unfortunately. She almost made it to the end of the war, but she didn't quite make it. And that is Alexandra Samusenko, a true heroine of the war, and many Russian women were heroines. Many women in the world were heroines. There were women who were flying the planes to get them fixed. There were women making the munitions in factories. There were women everywhere. There were the nurses in the battlefield. They were risking their lives, and they were putting their best. They were fighting their best they could. And I think with this National Women's Day, it's important to remember the women who have given their lives in service, because it's not only the men that fight in war, it is the women. There are women that die as civilians, there are women that die as soldiers. There were the night witches who flew many missions and brought terror to the Germans. There were women who fought in the tank divisions. There were women who fought as snipers. There were women that were agents. There was so many of them. And I think it's important that we remember them equally. You know, they weren't just there as a pretty face. They weren't just there as somebody to make up, for PR purposes. They were there fighting, and they gave their lives for our freedom. So, with today, I would like to remember Alexandra Samusenko. not much is known, as I said, and there's a lot of conflicting reports, and it's been a hard one to actually write this one because, well, it's hard to think of all the young people that lost their lives in the war, and with the conflicting information for this brave young lady, it was hard to get proper information. I could have gone for an easier one, as I said, Maria Oktobransky. There's a lot more on her. She was a widow and bought a tank and kept fighting, and again she perished. But I think it's important to remember the ones that are less remembered. It's important that we remember everybody, basically. As I said, she had many battle honours, and taking out three tigers is a feat that is just fantastic. She was a real fighter. And well, if you have religion, and if you're part Norse or something like that, then you know that she's gone to Valhalla, because she would be fighting on there for sure. Okay guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Sorry I've been a bit stammery, but I just wanted to get this video out and get it done. It was a bit hard, as I said, because there was a lot of conflicting information on this one. But yeah, I do hope you've enjoyed this video. And until next time, this is me, Screezilla, Carl, wishing you all the best. And as I say, in this moment, just remember all the brave young people that have given their lives. And remember that in war, everybody's equal. Everybody dies the same. Everybody lives the same. Everybody fights the same. There's no difference between gender. You are all the same at the end of the day. Okay guys, until next time, this is me out. Bye bye.